Playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth felt like stepping back into my childhood, only this time the memories are coloured in the vividness and depth of modern gaming technology. It's kind of like revisiting a beloved colouring book from years ago, but now every line and shade is filled with intricate detail, breathing new life into familiar scenes and characters. I will ask for a bit of forgiveness on the background footage. I didn't create any footage when I was playing through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I played it back on day one. Then I went traveling, so I never really recorded anything, so I didn't really think I was going to do a review for it. But as it's a bit of a quiet time, I really just wanted to get my thoughts out there. So the background footage is literally just the cutscenes and some trailers of the game running. So treat this as a podcast. Now I've got to start off by saying it's almost impossible for me to review Final Fantasy VII Rebirth from a completely objective point of view, and that's because some things are so important to your upbringing or as to part of your childhood that you can't take the emotion out of it, and Final Fantasy VII is one of those games. I played it on the PlayStation 1 in 1998. I actually still remember playing Final Fantasy VII and waiting for the England-Colombia World Cup match to start in 1998. Actually overrunning because I forgot it was on. I was just so engrossed in the game and turning on and seeing David Beckham score a free kick as I turned on the channel. I know that's just a random thing to mention, but it's just one of those things. These things are etched in people's memories. These huge moments from gaming when you were a kid. The reason why you fall in love with games and the reason you're still playing games now. This is very much kind of off the cuff ramblings really about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but it's more about how the game made me feel and the beautiful parts of it, rather than really a review. But from the moment I began, I was transported back to those late nights spent on my PS1, guiding Cloud and his friends through Midgar and beyond. I was actually playing with my cousin and we just used to swap the remote every half an hour. The bonds and stories of characters like Barrett and Red 13, which were always captivating to me, are now even more profound and engaging. Barrett's fierce determination and fatherly love, and Red 13's quest for identity and purpose are explored with a richness that was only hinted at in the original. These character developments feel like the natural progression of the tales that once captured my imagination as a child, and now they've been expanded and deepened. The world of Final Fantasy VII, and by extension Rebirth, is a rewarding landscape for exploration. I've actually 100%ed the game. Well, that's a bit of a lie. It's actually more like 99.5%, but I've done more in Final Fantasy Rebirth than I've probably done in any other game. And that's because I find the world rewarding. I find making these characters that I love so much, making them more powerful, I find that rewarding. I love the combat. I love pulling off big combos or big chain moves, or I forgot what they were called now. I played it about 3 months ago. But yeah, I just love the combat, and I love that every aspect of exploration actually fed back into making your character stronger and making your party stronger. The game's environments are lush and immersive. Okay, the performance isn't fantastic, but I was willing to overlook it really. And this makes every journey through forests, towns, dungeons, it just makes it all worth savouring. I took in every moment. Now, as everyone will know by now, one of the most significant departures from the original is the combat system, which has been completely overhauled, and they've done a great job. While initially the shift may seem daunting for hardcore fans, or just fans of the classic turn-based style, it quickly becomes evident how perfectly it fits within the modern reimagining. The real-time combat is fluid and engaging, yet it retains the strategic depth that made the original battle so satisfying. Every encounter requires thought and precision, making victories all the more rewarding. What stands out most about Rebirth is its ability to put a smile on the face of anyone who has fond memories of their childhood playing the original Final Fantasy VII. The game is a loving homage to its predecessor, yet it stands firmly on its own as a masterful RPG. It's a reminder why we fell in love with these characters. It's a reminder why we fell in love with gaming. It's a reminder of those times of when you were a kid and your imagination runs wild. That's one of the sucky things about growing up. There's many positives about growing up and getting a little bit older as I am, but one of the sucky things is losing that imagination that just runs wild. When I used to see a video game like Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, you kind of look in the backdrop of the world that you were seeing in this 2D crappy TV, and your imagination would run wild with what's back there. That doesn't happen as you get older. I feel like you just lose that. You become a bit more, dare I say, a bit more realistic as to what you're seeing. All of these things are being enriched with layers of complexity and emotion that can only be done by modern technology. Whether it be little conversations between characters you just didn't get before, the fact that they're voice acted, which adds of course to the human connection on a human level. The fact that so many of these characters, and especially Barrett and Red in my opinion, and Tifa as well to some extent, but how these characters really have extra layers to their personality added, it just makes you feel like you're just getting to know them after so long of being away. It's like when you meet a long lost friend and they've got so much to tell you about their lives. That's what it felt like going back to Rebirth. In essence, Rebirth is more than just a game. It's a bridge between our past and our present. It's a celebration of where we've been and where we're going, as children and as adults. It captures the spirit of the original while inviting us to experience it anew, making it an unmissable experience for anybody who fell in love with gaming due to the original. I know people can pick up minor issues, especially with some of the mini games, but if you've played the original, I feel outside of being made to do a couple of extra rounds of mini games that could have really been avoided. The game's incredible. It really is a masterpiece. It's a phenomenal look back at a classic. It's a phenomenal reimagining of a classic, and it's a classic in its own right. I love Rebirth. I can't believe I've put 100 and odd hours into it, and I just wanted to talk about it. It's a bit thin on the ground in terms of new content and new games at the moment, and I hadn't really kicked into making content when Rebirth was out. I was about to go traveling, so I didn't really bother making a video about it, but I just wanted to go back and talk about it. Really, it's well worth your time. Even though big game at about 100 hours, I would definitely sit down, get your teeth into it, get into the different areas, get the mini games, go through them, enjoy them. I mean, if you've played the old one, then crazy not to play this. I loved it. Incredible. Anyway, that's me just spitballing and showing my love for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Thank you so much for listening. I know the game's been out for ages, and I don't know if anyone's even going to watch this, because normally with YouTube, you've got to put a video out on what's the most recent trendy thing, but I just wanted to talk about it. I love talking about games, and Final Fantasy Rebirth is one of the reasons I love talking about games. Peace out, take care. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. It would help me out a ton. Peace.